Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Tamir Rice, Philando Castile. The list of names goes on and on. In America, one Black person is killed by police about every 40 hours. Black teenagers are 21 times more likely than white teenagers to be killed by police, and 1 out of every 1,000 Black men can expect to be killed by police. You'll often hear that these tragedies are a consequence of bad apples, quote unquote. But bad apples come from rotten trees. They are parts of a system of policing that needs institutional reform. Let's take a look. Standard procedures for holding officers accountable haven't worked. Officers are rarely charged or convicted for police killings. The threshold for what's considered criminal conduct for police remains extremely high, which often results in a slow, deliberate prosecution process before charges are even brought. Many police departments process complaints internally, and even when officers are found guilty of misconduct, they are not necessarily fired. They can be put on desk duty, leave, or simply fined. Needless to say, there are significant accountability concerns with these approaches. So what can be done to ensure greater accountability? There are a few things. For starters, we must ensure officers are fired for police misconduct and are not allowed to work in law enforcement again, period. This isn't controversial, and it has bipartisan support. It was included in an executive order signed by the president and the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed by the House, which happened to occur on what would have been Tamir Rice's 18th birthday. Second, we need to restructure civilian payouts by moving them from taxpayer money to police department insurance policies. The amount of money dedicated to such payouts is massive. Since 2010, St. Louis has paid over $33 million for police misconduct cases. Over the past 20 years, Chicago spent over $650 million. And from 2016 through 2018, New York City paid $565 million in police misconduct settlements. Research suggests that if money had been spent and used on things like education or work infrastructure, crime would actually go down. Establishing police department insurance policies will shift some of the burden for misconduct cases from the taxpayer to law enforcement. Now, the municipality would still cover a police department's insurance policy, but introducing this policy would mean that when a department's premium goes up, the city will know which individuals are responsible, and suddenly there's a market-driven approach to weed out those officers, or bad apples. The legislation should ensure that the premium increase does not come from general funds, but from police department budgets. Currently, most payouts for police misconduct come from the general funds and not police budgets. Recent examples include the $12 million Breonna Taylor's family received in Louisville, Kentucky, and the $20 million settlement that William Green's family received in Prince George's County, Maryland. This means that Taylor's and Green's own tax money and that of their relatives was used to pay their families for their preventable deaths. It's a surprise to no one that 2020 has been a year that has highlighted the need for structural changes in law enforcement. Keeping dangerous cops off the street and restructuring civilian payouts for police misconduct is a good place to start.